for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain.
Hey, it's you! Come on in and join us!
We're celebrating American independence today with a couple of barbershops, and why don't we start with Noble Otter?
It's a beautiful morning with the Barbershop Duet.
Hi, I'm Marcus Klinger with Klinger Vocal Studio.
And I'm Sarah Vincent with Sarah Vincent Virtual Pilates.
But on Wednesdays and Saturdays,
we are the Barbershop Duet.
Hey, y'all, come on in. Thank you for finding our little barbershop. If you happen to be here during one of the live premieres on YouTube, why, come on in the live chat. Meet the Whiff Pack, an awesome group of folks hanging out from all over the world. And you know what? They'd love to meet you, too.
They would. And for our mention today, Marcus found a new perfume house called Happy Land Studios. And here's the first scent we wanted to show you, El Goodo. Here are the scent notes: brandy, fruits, beeswax, oak moss, cedar, labdanum, and white musk.
Y'all, I could not have been happier to stumble across what they're doing over there at Happy Land Studios, and I ordered 10 samples from their line. I think a lot of them are dupes in the center that they then augment with a lot of other stuff. Like we got Gaelic Mist, that is most definitely a green Irish tweed. I think the Rhyolite one has some Herod on the inside, but we don't know our EDPs as well as Gorguts or some of y'all, so we don't know exactly what might be at the heart of some of the others, but y'all, El Goodo, for me, smells exactly like this hot pink magenta label you are seeing. There is something special about this. We both put it on last night at bedtime. It was the first one out of the 10 that we chose, and I am loving this. I get like a red berry balsamic something at the heart of this. What are you finding?
There's, to me, something about the fruits meeting the beeswax and the musk with the brandy. Like it's got the spices, it's got the fruits. It's not too gourmandy, but it has just the right suggestion of it that we like to indulge with.
And what a beautiful perfumer's balance. We do know that the creator and perfumer for Happy Land passed away a couple of years ago, but his family has picked up the ball, and even their new perfumed creations are making a splash in this world. So I am so happy to have discovered them and to bring you the other 9 samples as we continue on with our mentions at the beginning of the episodes. And what is our soap today?
I think this is one of our most requested soaps for us to finally get, and we have BarrBarr from Noble Otter. Let's meet the soap.
All right, y'all, from the sales page at nobleotter.com.
You know when you walk into a traditional barbershop and have a feeling of nostalgia take over your body? That is what we want BarrBarr to make you experience, to remind you of that sweet, spicy, powdery barbershop type of smell. It will remind you of the days when you were a little kid sitting on a stool with that old barber giving you a haircut.
Mine would grab us straight to do the back of my neck, and my dad would lie to me about it. And y'all, we have been told this is such a different barbershop, and yet I'm looking at some familiar scent notes. You want to let these out of the box a little early? What are we looking at here?
I kind of do. Lemon, rosemary, basil, oak moss, sandalwood, and patchouli.
But if we have been promised anything by our fellow wet shavers, and they're never wrong, it's that we are going to find some mysteries and wonders among those pillars, y'all, when we take this thing out of the box. What's the name of the little elephant when I was growing up?
BarrBarr.
That's what I thought this was.
Yeah. It's an otter, not an elephant.
Right, I guess so. Y'all, these are from the Shave Supply here in California on the West Coast, and this is a note from Garrett. Thanks so much, Marcus. I hope you love these. Thank you, buddy. I bet we will. Now, there's some stuff in here that you can't see yet. You didn't see Birch and Root. Nope. That's coming from McDustin. You did not see this one from Noble Otter. Look at the label. I totally bought this one because of the label. That one, too. But look at that. Ambrosia. Are you kidding? Anything's got ambrosia on the label, and I am in. Little Christmas in July. But that is not what you have come here to see on this Independence Day weekend. You have come to see this red, white, and blue beauty. BarrBarr, y'all. Let's have our first impression. As the rare combination of a female of the species and an expert on barbershop scents, I think I want you to go first and let me know what I am in for with this little charmer. All right, take it in.
Oh, look at he's got little suds on his face and his little wrap like you do with the barber.
All that beautiful, smooth, Noble Otter pour.
Okay, I'm curious if this will be familiar or a whole new spin on things.
I'm hoping there's powder, but we'll see.
Okay.
You can get Noble Otter at the grocery store in Texas. Y'all. Oh.
Okay, that's along with. Okay,
Like-
it is a barbershop, but it's not one we would necessarily put in a specific lane off that first whiff, I think.
Gotcha.
It's not what we call the blue barbershop scent.
Right.
And it's got a talkiness, but I wouldn't quite throw it in the powder zone either.
Okay.
It's kind of bouncing in the middle here. It's started from scratch. You can tell they made this literally from scratch, starting over. I do enjoy the little lemon part that brings me in, like the crisper bright side. Like, to me, it's more of a morning kind of scent, I think.
Nice.
And I don't remember if I read lavender, but whatever the floral is, it's adding that kind of creamy floral side that I think then jumps into more of the barbershop-y-ness happening. So I think the lemon brings me in. The florals is more of a gentle, creamy floral.
Right.
And then that goes into more of the barbershop lane. It is barbershop, but there's something in this side with the lemon and florals bringing me in that us gals, I think, actually will enjoy. Like, it's not as masculine forward somehow. I'm actually in the barbershop.
Right.
I don't think I'm exactly the dude in the chair, if that makes sense.
Right. That was my question. Even discovering new indie fragrance houses, they have a barbershop at Happyland. Is this meant to smell like the actual place? Is it meant to smell like a costume of someone who has been to a barbershop? Or is it just a beautiful masculine clean that you could classify, much like they do in the EDP world, as a fougere barbershop type of scent?
That was a lot of questions, but I think it could go for either. Like, you could be inside or have just left.
Gotcha.
Like, there's something of the aromas of the place in there.
Right.
If you want to feel like you just went to a barbershop, or you just want to be all cleaned up and ready to go for the day, this scent would totally work for that.
Right.
Because I don't think it's as powdery as some of our other ones, where there's a much more the barbershop chair for me. Like, I feel like I'm experiencing it.
Yeah.
This, I feel like, is just that general cleanness, or when you leave and you've got that, new, clean, kind of cut vibe. There's something about that comes through here.
Right.
Like, you spent time with a nice dude chatting in the morning.
Right.
Like, there wasn't a rush to start your day. I feel like there's something calming about this that comes through the scent-wise.
Nice.
It bounces back and forth to a herb that's in here. I'm not exactly sure which one. A deeper green something. And then the creamy, almost, but not, gourmandy powder side. So it goes from being herby and more down to earth to something a little sweeter, but it kind of just lives in between.
Gotcha.
So normally where I would say this has more the gourmandy side happening,
Right.
it approaches it, but it doesn't quite go there. And sometimes I'll say that the barbershops are a little more herby, less of the blue side. It has a little bit of that too, but it's kind of just dancing that line in between.
Now, on behalf of Gorguts and our more fragrance-minded viewers, is this a fougere?
I think I'm going to go with more of an herb than a fern for the
Gotcha.
greens.
Okay,
At least whiffing here. Maybe when we lather it up, that might change. But yeah, I'm going to stick with that. I can't figure out what's the warm creaminess that's in here. It's not quite gourmandy because my brain wants to figure out what that is.
Right.
But it's kind of like a lactonic-y vibe. And I can't figure out how it's happening, but I picture the white foamy lather. Like, so, but it has a little of that lactonic-y-ish hint in there. Not quite gourmandy, but real darn close.
I hear lactonic. It's like ringing the chow bell. I am in.
I can see why our friends requested that we do this. I feel like this will be a totally kind of Marcus-y helpful hint to a barbershop.
All right, I have literally waited
Months.
years for this moment. Okay, taking it in. Here we go.
That's fast.
I was a little scared it wouldn't be very sweet. And I know we just did Monarch, which is kind of in the same lane, and I love how sweet that's not. But y'all, I am a large man. I love my barbershops to be sweet and have a subtle shade of gourmand in there. And this already on that tiny little wisp I took, just to look at that inside the door, is going to fill that role beautifully. Hold on. And you know what? This is a little closer to that Sterling Barbershop, Lafayette Barbershop from Bricktown kind of lane, but it's got enough going on in here where some extra things have been added, and it's been just a little bit sweetened. It's been just a little bit more floraled. It's been just a little bit more smoothed out in the base notes. A little bit more wood, a little bit more of something like mahogany is in this. Ooh. Yep, and for me, this is the best news of all. I have had a meeting with myself and decided this is powder forward. It's not like Johnson & Johnson's baby powder, but it's not dislike it. I think it's been given just enough spice to elevate it to a masculine barber powder without losing the charm and nostalgia of the original that we love so much. And that's where it starts, y'all. The powder is just what gets you in the door with that puff of smoke. And then there's lots of stuff going on under the surface, but it's not quite as loud. Oh, now I know there's no florals listed, but there is for sure something standing in for lavender in here if it's not a drop of lavender. It's not enough where somebody that walks by you on the street would sense any kind of a floral. I think Rive Gauche goes way more floral than this, but it's just enough to be that barbershop hit that we all know so well in the depths of our soul. And it's funny, how is this different than Sterling Barbershop? Well, our viewers in Vienna, Austria often refer to the Sterling Barbershop as a barbershop next to a bakery. There is a gourmand in there somewhere. There's something sweet and doughy and light that's not in this. This is more of a French kind of a barbershop. The closest is probably Lafayette by Bricktown, but this has something herbier in the center, where Bricktown is all about those beautiful cloudy sweets and powders. This goes a little bit deeper into something almost scritchy if it was left on its own, but beautiful and masculine in this balance. One of the Happy Land samples we got yesterday, Paisley Sky, listed patchouli twice just to be funny, to bring home the idea that there's a lot of patchouli in that, but it is not what we got at all. Patchouli does amazing things. Most of the reviewers describe Paisley Sky as what a strip club smells like. My friend Megan danced for Bally's in Jubilee for years, and we are told she unleashed her tatas. But that's as close as I ever got to like a strip club, and this does not smell like she did. Your friend danced in that too. We all had a conversation. Should we go see Megan? Well, I don't know if we want to see that much of Megan. And y'all, I was talking to DJ yesterday. There is nothing that will elevate a barbershop for us like basil. It is just amazing. And I think that is what is standing in for that floral. How are you getting that floral if there isn't a floral in this?
I know, because I think I read rosemary, but I mean, I know the name says rose and Mary in the herb, but I don't know if it's having that much of a power to add the floral that my brain is sure that's in here. It's funny, because I would swear if I hadn't read that list that there was some kind of a floral adding some magic in here, but apparently I'm crazy.
And y'all, if I were to throw some adjectives at this: gentle, beautiful, soft, mellow, comforting, clean, put together.
What was the lactonic creamy side that I'm getting? Go back and see if you get that. Or am I crazy?
But like, how are they doing it?
Right. Because I think that's what's making it just slightly different than the few that we can kind of get it close to.
Right. It's something a little sandy. It's something warm.
It might be in their base, but it's working super well.
I'm going to go back and sneak a look at the scent notes. Don't tell anybody. I think it's probably how the sandalwood, the oak moss, and the lemon are coming together to create that sense of a smooth floral. But that's just a theory. What do you think?
Maybe it is the sandalwood that's just adding a little bit of that creaminess in a different way, next to the basil and the rosemary. I don't know.
Right, and the sandalwood's not being allowed to get boozy. It's not being allowed to go dark, but that's what it is. Believe it or not, could you imagine a floral being created from basil, rosemary, and sandalwood? And yet, here we are. And since we're already sneaking a peek at the scent notes, why don't we do it for real and you can come along? We'll build a lather. My mom used to hide stuff in her spaghetti sauce. Stuff that it needed, but she knew that we wouldn't like if we knew it was in there, like anchovy paste. Well, y'all, as we go back to these scent notes, I am flabbergasted. I am sham-wowzled. I don't know how something like this came from those notes. Now, not because this is complex, but because the balance and personality that this creates is so friendly, so floral, so powdery, so barbershoppy that I know all of these doors, but I'm not sure how they're coming together to create this cottage. So y'all, back to the sales page at nobleotter.com.
Lemon, rosemary, and basil.
Okay, so first of all, are you getting the lemon? Are you getting the rosemary? How are these coming together for you?
You know, it's funny. I didn't realize that there was rosemary and basil until you mentioned that.
Right.
But I get why my brain kept getting more of a green color than it was like a blue barbershop.
Right.
And I think that's how it's happening. The lemon really helps bring it in. Like, I do get a morning side to this. And I think it's just something about that. That's that refreshing kind of a, you know, feeling clean after your shave.
And I think they dove down into the molecule between the rosemary and the lemon and took some stuff out. Because generally, rosemary for me can be very cold, very bracing, very herby, menthol adjacent, but it does not do that here. It just gives you its herby personality at first, and then almost just becomes lemon. I'm not sensing a real rosemary hit in this at all. For me, it's about where the basil and the sandalwood are coming together. That is crazy. That's, for me, what's creating the powder and the floral.
So next we have oak moss, and I think that's actually helping me get some of the greens to then veer into that creamy side. Like it's the transition with, that goes into the sandalwood for me.
And this is a little bit of a picture postcard from fougere territory, just to make sure this barbershop doesn't lose all of its traditions. And I totally get that in here. But again, the sandalwood and the patchouli, in a much different form than I'm used to, are coming together to add a sweet, almost cederness to this.
Oh, and you can read the scent notes on the side. We have lemon, rosemary, basil, oak moss, sandalwood, patchouli. Same list
I like
here.
to see sometimes they leave stuff out on the label or add things on the label that are not on the sales page. You know who you are. And y'all, we thought this was a great bowl and brush choice to make our lather today. This is based on a set of Converse Chuck Taylor high tops that my mama bought me in 1985. Actually, 2 pairs, if you know the story. Oh, and this is a lovely soft soap, but it's got some bite back to the stick to let you know a little bit of milling or something has gone on here. And then I'm going to push this into the ridges of my bowl and then smooth it out with a little heat, a little speed, and a little friction to kind of create a layer of soap in the bowl and approximate a tub load without the tub. Oh.
Yeah?
Sometimes just the heat of my finger brings stuff out. Smell the basil in that. Are you getting that?
Yeah, it's brightening up somehow. It's less creamy.
And then baptized with the Sean and Julie Memorial Bougie Sprayer. Now, we know that this is a little bit of a thirsty lather, so I'm going to add some extra sprays. Now, my first goal is to get that soap onto these bristles with as little water as possible. I'm going to let some of that water that I've sprayed onto the soap wet the bristles, but just to carry that soap onto them. And then I'm going to turn the brush. Go forwards, go backwards, and then turn the brush. Give the bristles a new orientation to grab the soap, and then look at that. It's almost gone from the top of the bowl, hiding in between the bristles, and I haven't even gone for the water yet.
I forget that they have such pretty mylar in their labels. I don't think it comes across on camera, but you'll just have to believe us.
And then I'm going to go down and grab the water that's hiding at the bottom of the bowl. And then that brush is now supercharged. Take it anywhere you want. Face lather, leg lather. We don't judge here, but I'm going to do it in the bowl. So I'm just going to start stirring here and get those big bubbles to make some tiny bubbles.
I think for me, this is one of the most unisex barbershops we've had so far.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that. Well, White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor. Y'all, if you got some of that hanging out under the sink in the back of your bathroom, grab it. Take a sniff. It's 90% powder and beautifully feminine. A little old lady, but beautifully feminine. They say when Liz Taylor rented out Disneyland for her birthday party, they pumped it into the air.
Whoa.
Y'all, just going by the view counts of some of our videos, we can tell that Noble Otter has a following, and we understand why. We are giant fans. Y'all, look at how this lather is just moving around in the bowl like the foam on top of the ocean. It's got its own consistency, it's got its own iridescence, and the longer you give it, the tinier the bubbles get, until that is so much better than anything you can get in a can of foamy. And this is something you only find here in the Barbershop Duet. This is Do You Do Ladies in this Barbershop 2 on 3, 1, 2. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, you know, I get a little bit more of a cinnamon, sort of a cedar sense in this that balances out in the lather. This is lovely. Something cedarish, cinnamonish at the very bottom of this that's coming out now. Are you getting that?
It's interesting to read it that short of a scent note list.
Right.
But to have this complex of a scent. Like, there's got to be some secret weapons that we don't know about, because
100%.
you can tell that those layers in between each scent have a voice.
And this might be the contender of the year for the Marcus Clean scent. Not that you're going to be able to identify at all what I'm wearing, just a sense of, that guy's clean and put together. He's probably seen a shower in the last 3 hours. That's the kind of thing
I'm
this
with
does.
you.
And yeah, when we watch Mike on the Long Island Shaver, we love to see how that lather coats and covers his face. And while we don't do shaving here in the Barbershop Duet, we do want you to see how this stuff works. All right, you ready? Look, y'all, just look at that. You can see the tracks the individual bristles make in that lather.
Aren't you glad you haven't shaved yet today?
I am so glad. I'm going to grab this bougie sprayer and march in there. Y'all, look at this. You just know when you feel it on your face that your razor's going to know exactly what to do with it.
I just had a really funny image of a gal walking into a barbershop saying, "Hey, can you shave my legs?"
It must have happened.
Right? I don't know.
I mean, if you're late for a wedding, you forgot.
Right? Like, oh, snap.
There are emergencies. I would
Yeah.
kind of love to see somebody stropping a razor and somebody
I'm a
lifting
little
up their
scared.
pant legs. It would have to cost extra.
Right?
There's so much real estate. And then where do you stop? We're not even going to go there. Never mind.
I did have a roommate in college, and we were on our way to the beach in Newport that we pulled over to like a 7-Eleven or something, and it was a quickie like shave in the car on the way to the beach thing. So it would have been nice to have a much better version of that.
And y'all, as we continue to unravel this most perfect of American barbershop scents on this 4th of July week, why don't we take this down a little deeper?
There is something about waking up with like on the right side of the bed feel that comes across with this scent.
And I feel like if you're in a bad mood, this will actually help you. I think the aromatherapy part of this hobby is often ignored, but I think it has great effects on us. And y'all, if I am going to gently compare this to Monarch from Noble Otter, this one goes beautifully sweet in a very masculine way. Monarch does not. Monarch's more about that dry, herby hay note in the middle, a little talky face powder without being a barber powder, without being a baby powder. Much different. Monarch is at least 65 years old. I feel like this could go easily on a college scene. And the beautiful, whimsical, playful side of this is indeed the powder. But what do you find at the darkest end of this? What's at its most scritchy base? What is that herb you're getting?
I think it's the oak moss for me that's pulling it to the darkest side. Because I just, something in oak moss always has like an almost dirt or bark vibe for me that comes across.
Right.
So I get the other herbs in there, but then I think if you follow that, it leads you to the oak moss.
And y'all, as a last thought, all of the barbers that I've gone to in my life are kind of awesome people. And one of them is even a third generation. He's still cutting hair in the house where he grew up. It's kind of in the back of the barbershop. There's something about this that captures the hospitality, the kind nature of somebody who wakes up in high school and says, I want to cut hair for a living. I want to meet lots of different kinds of people from all over the world and make them feel better about themselves. Make them look better. Make them feel better. And there was something about this better than anything in our cabinet that helps define for me what an American barber is like and what that experience is like to be in his care for 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah, that you wouldn't mind spending time like once a month or whenever you come in, catching back up to where you left off.
Right. Ours is careful about what kind of powder he puts on you. He's even got a little massager that he does your shoulders at the end of your haircut. Y'all, it's about that. It's about the hospitality of that experience, not just getting your hair cut. That's what Supercuts is for.
There is something different from men learning how to take care of themselves, not just by presentation, but actually indulging. And I love that we found the wet shaving world for that. So it's scents like this, I think, help tie that all together.
Right. Or allowing other dudes to be part of our grooming experience. Y'all are super good at that at the beauty parlor, but it's kind of one of the only places we go to have somebody older, wiser, father-like in our world slap us on the face and tell us to go have a great day. That's the barber, and that's what's in this. So it's pretty simple, y'all. Just be a radical thinker. Hanging out in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania around 1776. You're going to stop into the barbershop, get a nice stropped razor shave, and head over to Independence Hall where you and your friends are going to get their own.
So head over to nobleotter.com where you'll find this and a bunch of other cool stuff.
Well, I have had my shave, y'all, with BarrBarr, one of the absolute perfect, soft, powdery barbershops in the business. A little bit more reminiscent of Lafayette than it is Sterling Barbershop. Those soft French florals in here, amazing things happening. And y'all, there's a reason you can buy this at grocery stores in the United States. This lather is absolutely superlative. The base is a masterpiece. Thank you, Noble Otter. We'll be back for some more summer fun soon. Welcome to Messages.
So for our July giveaway, we wanted to give you a chance to get this custom brush from Opus Brush.
Well, Craig made this just for our show to give away to y'all. And all you have to do to be eligible for this giveaway is send us an email here to WeSentYou at thebarbershopduet.com so that we can get back to you. It's the only way we communicate about our giveaways. And then check back here on our August episode to see if you are the lucky new owner of this magnificent brush.
Best of luck.
Okay, so I love that this is a barbershop that is not entirely unfamiliar. I love that, because within conformity, there is great freedom. Sometimes the barbershops that go way outside the box are so outside the box, they're hard to see from the barber chair. And I love that this has elements of it that I already know from the wet shaving world, but some subtle improvements and variations that give me that extra layer of luxury that I am really going to enjoy.
I think when I picture a barbershop scent, I do picture something more like this, personally.
Me too.
So for a newbie or someone that's new to the wet shaving world,
Right.
I do think this is a great scent to kind of just ease them into what this all has to offer.
Yeah, if your buddy just started wet shaving, perhaps not batters up. Maybe grab him BarrBarr.
Don't forget your next appointment with the Barbershop Duet.
You'll smell better just watching this.